Good morning, radio listeners, TV viewers, and our followers on social media. This is your program, The Morning Show with Elton Jones, and we do have some guests in the house today. But before going to the guests, we'd like to bring you up to date on some news affecting our country. First of all, good news, depending on who's listening. The Housing Foundation, St. Martin Housing Foundation, received from government yesterday 1 million guilders in subsidy that was owed to the foundation for people living in the tenants at the foundation who were in arrears. So they have received that money, and according to the foundation, these monies would be used to make repairs to the various properties that is under the foundation. Also, the foundation says that it is only part of the money they should receive, and when they get more money, more things will be done. I've been over to Belvedere yesterday, and I do intend to be back there today, but people are complaining about the damages to their houses from the hurricane, and they've been crying out for help for even before Irma, and nothing has been happening. Ironically, there was a court case with renters, landlords, and tenants, and the judge ruled that the tenants are allowed to use their rent money to effectuate the repairs and deduct it from their rent. It's strange that it's not being done with the foundation. It doesn't matter whether it's a government foundation or private thing. People have to repair the place. People are not bound to live with rain falling on their head every day because landlords are negligent. So you can just use the precedent of the court case to use the money to repair your own place. Another part of the news that is interesting, first of all, in reporting to the second chamber, day before yesterday, Knops made it clear that none of the trust fund would be used, and according to him, to fund US $145 million building, bulletproof glass and salt crystal building for the Parliament of St. Martin. The minister says that the monies was not there to do extravagant things for the St. Martin people. It was there to help people who were damaged by a hurricane to get back to the place they were before 2017. Another issue coming up in the second chamber, the members of the second chamber are not intending to give approval to liquidity subsidy for St. Martin this year unless the ministers and parliamentarians agree to drop their salary. According to members in Parliament, the St. Martin government is living extravagantly. They're being greedy. They're not willing to give in so other people can be helped, and there will be no liquidity unless the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians is drastically adjusted. On another note, the Insulair, as we know it for the last 12 years, has come to a halt. The company Telgent Capital Trust has informed the company that they are no longer interested, and because of that, Insulair will be declared bankrupt and will cease to exist. So another Caribbean carrier, because of one other reason, one of them that is mostly overemployment, because most of these airlines employ more people than they're able to carry, maybe more than the passengers they carry. So, anyway, it's sad, but another Caribbean carrier has folded. And one more thing I'd like to report before we go. Curacao, yesterday, the Minister of Vromi in Curacao says that one of the beaches in Curacao, part of the beach will be given to a hotel because according to the minister, in a lease agreement, government overlooked something and the hotel is entitled to a piece of Piscadera Bay, and that pass is called Paraceras, and it will be owned by the hotel, and government had palapas built there that will have to come down. Why do we think it's a dangerous trend? We see in St. Martin, hotel properties like Mullet Bay, in Simpson Bay and other places, Isopon, encroaching on the beach and trying to stop people from going on the beach. If we start letting these things happen, it happens on one island, then everybody comes after the same thing. We have asked parliamentarians and people running for government back before the election last year or the year before to to embed in law how long lease goes and the fact that the beaches cannot be owned by outsiders. We know what happened with Mother Bay, that a foreigner got hold of the domain here, letterheads, and they decided what the beaches would be. Of course, we have talked about it a lot, but to date, Parliament has not done anything to correct it. So, looking at what happens in Curacao, maybe we should be proactive in avoiding these things happening here, because I do not think it's going to go easy as an announcement by the minister. And that's your headlines for today. And we go over to our guest. I'd like to welcome in the studio Miss Minerva Sams. Marva Sams, I'm sorry. Good morning and welcome to the studio.
Good morning.
Marva Sams is the coordinator for the pre-USM and administrator for USVI-USM cooperation. I also have in-house one that don't really need any introduction. I have in the house Miss Dorothy Richardson. She's an instructor. She's part of the faculty at USM. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Okay, we're going to talk. We started last week with the president and the dean of USM, so we'll just continue. And I'd like to start off on an easy note. Well, easy for me. Student experience. Tell us about it.
Well, the student experience. First and foremost, it is easy being a student of the University of St. Martin. The fact is you are able to be at home. You are at home, which makes it a little cheaper because you're at home. And you're also able to send yourself to school because you can work during the morning hours, your full 8 hours, and attend class in the evening. And there are also many activities that go on the grounds and of the University of St. Martin, and there are clubs that the students can join. And because it is a small school of higher education, we have become as a family. So, and myself as an alumni, an ex-student twice of the University of St. Martin, I started out 30 years ago with when it was an annex of the Johnson and Wales, and I was also a student there, graduated, and then went back to get my education in elementary, my education degree in elementary teaching at the University of St. Martin, and now I'm a faculty member. I teach there at the University of St. Martin. And there are many, many, many success stories out there, including our dean.
Yes, and I just want to add to it, as the pre-USM coordinator, that our students appreciate the fact that a program has been put in place for them, specifically to take care of their needs. Our pre-USM students are mainly coming from the vocational section of the secondary education, and so this is like a second chance for them. At the end of grade 6, students will sit the FBE exam, and then they are streamed into different high schools. And if a student did particularly well on the FBE exams, they would end up going to Sundial or PSVE or vocational training school. And for some, it seems like this is the end. But USM has developed this program some years ago, and now students are able to leave from the PKL level, the TKL. We even have a few PBL students that have applied to the pre-USM program, and when they come there, we are allowing them to build those skills and that foundation that they need so that they can be successful when they apply to a college or university. And not just the one here in St. Martin, but we are preparing them well so that when they leave, they can go to any university anywhere in the world.
Okay, Ms. Richardson spoke about clubs at USM. I assume they're extracurricular. What do they do? What is available?
Well, we have the Student Government Association, and we have the ambassadors. We also, there are courses that like for instance, there's the drama course, and from that they have their first Tuesday where they sing, they MC, they have fun, and there are other things in the making. Like for instance, we are in the planning of developing a travel club
Okay.
and a sports club in the making. Well, it was there in the beginning, but with time, certain things, sort of faded out. But they are being
Revamped?
revamped or reintroduced again. And so the student life is really picking up on the campus.
Yes.
And by the way, USM is open.
Yes, it is.
I get that feeling.
Yes.
Okay, another thing we'd like to talk about is the benefits for students who are working. Most people in St. Martin have 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet, and they want an opportunity to further their education. What are the
Yes.
benefits from them, and how easy is it to get into night classes and other classes that are tailored to that?
Well, the classes are offered, let's say, from 3:30 to all the way to 9:30 in the evening. So students are able to attend classes, enroll in a program and attend classes based on their schedules. I think the earliest it would be 5 o'clock the class would start. I think 3:30 might be too early.
5:30.
Yeah, 5:30 the classes would start. So they would leave from their work and then come to classes.
Fortunately, most companies, they are happy that someone who's in their company is pursuing an education, and on the days that they have to come to class for 5:30, they're sometimes lenient in allowing them to leave a few minutes early. So, and I'll take this opportunity right now to encourage the businesses, if you have someone who is working with you and wish to further their education, to
Yes.
cooperate with them. It would only but enhance your establishment also. So it is it becomes very much easier for the locals, for the students on the island to attend classes.
We have 2 programs that are running in the morning. That's the GD and the pre-USM, because we cater mainly to students who just left school and they're not employed, or they're employed in the afternoon, so they can come classes in the morning. So we do have programs running during the morning as well for a specific group of people.
Okay, now, I read newspaper every day, get that feeling, right? But I don't see much advertisement for USM. How do people get information, what is available, or what will be coming up in the future and stuff like that? There's not much programming or promoting of USM. How do we go about that? So how do we get information?
Well, this is part of the promoting now.
That's what we're doing. Yes.
We're promoting right now.
Yes.
No,
Yes,
true, but how do
since-
you know what is available?
So that's what we're doing right now. We're promoting. We do have a Facebook page. We also have a website, usm.sx, so they can go there and see what USM has to offer. And there's the course descriptions there, so they know exactly what each course entails. So the information is there. But right now we are really becoming a little more proactive after the Hurricane Irma. USM, a lot of students left because of different situations. And so this is our aim right now, to let them know that USM is still there and we are increasing in numbers. We are also increasing our programs. We are doing all that we can do to ensure that their needs are met.
We have just even joined partners with AUC.
With
and
AUC,
NEPA.
yes.
You take over my next question. I saw you said this
Yeah.
partnership with AUC, NEPA, and other tertiary education organizations. First of all, what is the benefits and how is it working?
Well,
Go ahead.
it just started,
Okay.
and well, it was just about a few weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago,
5 weeks.
That we signed the
that the
agreement.
merge the merger was made.
Yes, yes.
So
AUC, at the moment, AUC provides sponsorship for students who are in the Bachelor's of Elementary Education program. So that relationship existed much longer, but now they have decided to really make it a relationship between NEPA and USM and themselves. So we don't know exactly where it's going, but we know that it's going to be a positive development because our students will have more opportunities. The university with NEPA will be working together where they can have an exchange, where students, if they cannot do one program with us, they'll go to NEPA and vice versa. And then AUC is there more to support us, I guess, in the financial part because they do sponsor our students.
I've spoken with the president earlier this year about business. We know, those of us from St. Martin know that most students here that went to school here were taught to be employees. And the USM was presenting this business program, and we were going to see what incentive can we find to encourage people to become the employers, so to be entrepreneurial and start your own thing other than knocking and needing a job.
Yes.
I've spoken to him about that. And I've spoken about the accredited programs because we have not been way back in the 90s, been able to get the institution accredited in its entirety, but we have some programs. So what business programs do we have now that are accredited?
All the business programs are accredited.
Yes, we have the associates business and hospitality. That's the BTEC. It's BTEC accredited.
Yeah,
I'm sure that they mentioned that as well when they came here. So we have that program, and then we have UVI that has signed an agreement in 2015 with USM where they also offer the bachelor's in business, so that when the students finish their associates in business here at USM, that then they can transfer into UVI and complete their final 2 years and receive an accredited business degree. So last year, we had our first graduates in that program. They completed their business of administration in accounting and management. We had a group of, I believe it was 5 students that graduated. And right now, they're employed. They're happy with what they have done, and they're continuing.
Okay. The USM started some years ago, we had a shortage of school teachers providing class training for school teachers to fill the voids we have here, and of course other people. One of the trends we are seeing is, Amanda, there are not much male figures going into teaching field.
Very true.
Very true.
How can we change that around? We need some men in pants standing up front in the class.
I fully agree. Being 35 years in education and being a former school manager, I really see the need because, our children, they're at home with their mothers because many of our families are single parents. And then they see this mother figure, and then when they come to school, there they see a woman again standing in front of them. And I really see the need for men to be in education. Sometimes we have one male that comes in, but I really don't know what it is that don't attract them to that occupation because it's very rewarding. And our children need to have that male figure. If it's missing at home, the school will be the right place for them to see that model in front of them, a role model.
So let's take this opportunity right now to tell the men. Doesn't matter how old you are.
I'm too old. I'm a pensioner.
Not too old.
Not too old. Please come out and join the education program. We really need you. When I did the education program there were only 2 male in the program. And the last semester, they dropped out.
Oh, boy.
So they were 1 semester away from becoming, a
male teacher.
And we need them. And being also, like you said, Miss Sam, working in the schools myself, we were always so happy on the days when the gym teacher, who is a male, came in. And even the students were happy because it was,
finally,
somebody's there, And us school managers, was only one school manager who was male, Mr. Gittins.
Yes.
And
In speaking with young people here, I said I was at Belvedere yesterday. I'd like to talk to the young people about what they're doing later. There's a trend in Savannah. Everybody believes they're going to be a rapper or they're going to be a basketball player. It seems like out there's no, maybe not at home or anywhere else, any encouragement to, go to school, get a better education, prepare yourself. The short route, if you play sports or if you can play some music, you have it made.
I don't think that parents are not telling their children, or at least advising them, what to encourage them to do certain occupations. But I think what's lacking is where a parent wants a child to do something but does not carry it through. Making sure that they have the environment, they have that support to achieve greater goals than just looking at TV. Oh, look at that great basketball player, I'm going to be like that. Because students, when your child is born, you know already what you want them to become. And as they grow up, you see their talents, you see their gifts, and you say, I think my child will be a great electrician or a great doctor or something. But that support is lacking at home, where that child has that push and said, you know what, my parents believe I can do it, so I'm going to do it.
When we went to school quite a while ago, I'm not going to say like Ms. Richardson here, about 30 years ago I worked here, because that would give an idea how old we are.
well, listening audience, I went to school with him.
No, but in the old Milo system, we used to have students, so some of the top students in the class act as teacher for a day. They got basically on-the-job training, how it's done, how to set up things. Those things are missing too. The students, they're mostly ready to get out. 1 o'clock don't come fast enough, because we're not including them in anything. They don't feel really part of it. They just do their 5 hours and go home.
Yes.
I think that's one of the things we could do to encourage people to get in that field.
Yeah. And some schools do what do you call it, professional day, when students can dress up. Whatever you want to become, dress up that day. And I've seen in school where students come dressed as doctors, lawyers, stewardess. And it's very encouraging when you see how far they will go to portray that person. So it's more than just that. Okay. It's help to guide them within that career.
And now they can come to the University of St. Martin and continue.
Well, certainly. But, let me try to get some young people. It's nice when the old people come, but let's get some young people. If there's continuity, we need to look at the age.
Well, we'll be talking about when the promotion day, and the 16 and 17, they come on down to us.
Okay.
And continue.
I remember that when there's promotion day, I'll come down and take a look.
And USM is where they can start. You don't need to leave this island to begin your career. You can start your studies right here, get your associates. Now with UVI being in the picture and USM is developing other relationships with other universities, you can get your bachelor's here. You can get your master's here in education. UVI is offering a master's program. We even offer PhD. But our children do not have to leave St. Martin at a very young age. As a matter of fact, it's advisable that they stay here and develop those attitudes, those work habits that will make them successful when they actually leave the island. Because we've seen that where students leave this island and they go to Holland and they're in one program and then they give up, they enter to a next one, and then they never return. They never return because they haven't had that foundation built. So USM would be the perfect place for them to come and begin their educational journey right there.
I have learned from Ms. Carter, your dean, that kids that do their bachelor here before they go on to other schools do much better.
Yes, they do.
So then the question is, why can't we get the people that takes care of student financing to look at that as a way of saving money? Because if you're more guaranteed successes if they can do it this way.
Yes.
So how is it we can get that clear to the student financing managers?
Well, I guess by you saying that, they hear it.
And there was, yes.
No. Yeah, because, I think, I've thought for a long while, we can support USM more when you hear USM asking for subsidy, which they should get anyhow. But if more students will go there, it will make it easier for them. And if it's proven that the students are doing better when they do their pre-studies there. I don't understand why we keep insisting on sending them, some of them very young, and they get in a foreign country and then everything goes haywire.
Yes, yes, I agree. And the subsidy would help the university to build new programs because they have put a lot of emphasis in the educational program, so that is going well. But now, we need to develop other things. Students are coming in and they say, I want to study psychology. I want to study social work. So those are new areas that we can develop programs, but it all costs something. So the money that we are requesting from government is for us to be able to develop it and, like you said, have our students become successful here. And if afterwards you want to leave for the experience to go to a college somewhere for 2 years, 3 years, and return to build your island, perfect. But this is the ground where you can start.
Well, I hope some of them, they'll hear from me again anyway, but I hope they're listening because we have to use the meager means we have intelligently, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
We don't have that much money, and one of the funds that we're looking on says, hey, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, so the little we have, we got to use better, especially in education.
You don't, okay. I will.
Go ahead.
No. I beg to differ. Because I believe it depends on what your priorities are. Our government, and nobody shoot me down as I'm speaking, but I believe that, a nation, especially because we are a new country since 1010, we need to know what our priorities are. Are we going to educate our nation and then some years from now you can see where your country is going? You have people who are well trained to run your country, or do you prefer to promote carnival and promote this and promote that because it's bringing money to the country? And then what happened to your people? What happens to your young people? And those young people who have big dreams, what do? They run. They leave the island and go somewhere else. And we have a large population of young people just doing hardly anything with what God has given them. Their talents and gifts are going lost.
Well, we have a lot of them lost on the island, but I have a lot of them that came back from studying too. And when you speak to them, we're going to leave because, we can't fit in anywhere, we can't get jobs and stuff. And those are terrible things. I've spoken with the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, Mr. Gonzalez, and he was giving me this thing. When he got into politics, one of the first things he thought needed to happen was to expand education in the country. He, in his mind, you couldn't build a country. They just got into independence or so. You needed to educate your population. And his first project was to build schools everywhere. Build schools.
Yes.
And then he looked at the salaries of your civil servants, especially school teachers and the people in security, police and so. And St. Vincent has been going pretty steady based on those principles. Because unless you have a real educated society and now a wired society, you have to be technologically savvy also.
Yes.
You can't really look at the future brightly.
Yeah. And our former president, Guadalupe, you remember him, Francio?
Yeah, no.
He one of the things that he mentioned when he was here during his tenure, he spoke about every household having an associate's degree. And one of my colleagues just this week, we were talking about it, and he was saying in Holland, every home, their aim is for every home to have a master's degree. So associates, we are not even close to the masters. So if we can just push, if government can just make money available, going back to the pre-USM program, we have students that come and they want to follow a program, but how am I going to pay for it? And those are the things that we need to think about. How are we going to support, even at that low level, how are we going to support them so that they can make that first step in pre-USM and then move on to degree programs and move up in society?
One of my things about education has been for a long time that I still believe it's possible and it can be done, that primary and secondary education should be free in a country like St. Martin.
Yes.
And I talk with members of Parliament, I talk with the chair of Parliament about it. We have so many gambling houses in St. Martin, and these are the people that contribute, in my mind, to the delinquency of young people, and these are the people who should be made to pay. It's unacceptable that we're not getting the monies we need from them, and our schools have to suffer.
Yeah.
And if we would do what we need to do, that's my opinion. I've been in politics, so I understand how it works. We can surely give these people primary and secondary education
We
free.
can.
Because what's happening here is crazy. I talked to some people, can't even afford to pay their fees anymore.
Yes.
And we have a bunch of kids on the road with no future at all, and we're
Yes.
still talking about building a country.
Yeah. And we are building. Because when you look around St. Martin, it's being developed.
Yeah, but you cannot, I don't believe, though, and that's strictly political, that's another cap, that you can build a country solely on outside intervention. You have to building a country.
within.
I talked to people, and I said to Mr. Carmona when he was there, you don't build a country by building buildings, building airports, building ports. You build people.
Yes.
The country is built by people. So if we look around us, we boast about our airport, our port, our boardwalk, and those things are nice, very nice parts of the infrastructure. But where do we fit in?
That's it.
You know, we have
That's
to build
it.
people, and the only way to do that is through education.
That's it.
So I honestly believe, and I still believe it's possible, if we take a different approach to this gambling craziness. I don't know how many of them they have now, because they're everywhere. If we tax them better, and that goes towards
will have
education,
money,
we-
yes.
definitely.
Yes.
So, but that's political will. But I don't agree with that we're progressing. Progressing have to be counted by the people you produce, not the buildings.
That's it. Yes. And just the other day, we had a visitor at USM, and he is a former consultant for, was it UNICEF? And he was mentioning that you measure a country, the value of a country, you measure it by how you meet the needs of the weakest.
The weakest among you.
The weakest
That's a fact.
among you. The
That's a fact.
weakest, not the strongest, the weakest. So if your weakest are suffering and they're lacking, then your country is not healthy.
One of the things about the weakest among us is nobody sees them. We're just starting a program here we call, taking the show on the road, but the idea is to go to areas where the tour buses don't pass. People that come to St. Martin get the impression that this is a rich country, but they don't go into the Belvederes and the Union Farms and Nazareth and Bethlehem, all these places with biblical
Yes.
names, and see how people really live.
Biblical names.
Yeah. So but we should show the fact of our
Yes.
country, because people get a wrong idea about us.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
they hear St. Martin is asking for aid, they say, "Oh, but that's a
They-
rich
yeah.
country." They
Yes.
get the wrong impression of who we are.
They
and
do.
We try to highlight that we are so better off than everybody else, and we have people living in squalor in those areas. I go there
Yes.
weekly to visit
Yes.
in these places, and it's hard. It's hard to see people living like that today, but we need to do more for the people among us who can't help themselves, and we need to offer hope. Government supposed to facilitate more things that people can get along in society. It's not good enough to say go look a job and they're turned away. And what happens? The social services budget keep expanding, because that's where they knock when they can't get a job.
That's it.
It's
So you keep giving them fish, but you're not teaching them how to fish.
and we have to get a new approach to education. Maybe I'll vote for Dorothy next time if she runs.
Yes.
I'll have another minister of education.
Because my slogan is everybody is somebody.
Yes,
Very
it
good.
is. Yes. yes.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Now, okay, let's go to some other things. When I had your dean here, they said there were possibilities, and this is what people want to know. What possibilities are there for sports people, sportsmen and women? Because, we raised up in our day, it was sports is good for a healthy body and a sound mind. But now sports is a big business. There are many branches in sports, masseurs, trainers, coaches, managers. What is offered in sports at USM?
That's a very
That's
good
like
one.
a very good question. I just got food for thought.
Well, okay, I sure
Yeah,
will be-
I'm sure there's something in the pipeline, but
Yes.
we don't know. But I believe that they do want to start maybe like a basketball team among the students so that they can promote that kind of.
There's a time I
Yeah.
did a refereeing for, y'all had a football team some years ago.
Yes.
I refereed
and a
some games in
basketball.
Yeah.
No, but a lot of people like to look at what is there for sports. A lot of the kids believe, man, they've been playing sports all their life. That's where their future is, and it would be good to offer them something there.
Yes. Yes.
A program that I thought about I talked to government about it, talked to people in government. We have a situation here where I talked to Mr. Carmona about this so-called diversification. But if we treat what we have good, maybe we don't really need to diversify. I'm talking about the people that we consider ambassadors to the business we're in, the taxi drivers and those people that meet people up front. Why can't we train them? People have no idea. I hear some of them telling tourists things that they know nothing. They even don't know what the country is like. Can't we come up with a program and offer that to government? They will pay into it.
I think
that
so.
Will train
You
those
know?
people.
But there was such a program, but it's going to be revamped. And even the multilingual appreciation
Yes, I was thinking about that.
program,
Yes.
we can, that is something that we can certainly discuss with the dean and the president to expand it to accommodate those people who are the ambassadors, the people who see our
Yes.
visitors first of all.
Yeah.
Because, and you are so right, that they are limited in the correct information about our island, and in so doing, at times, when they have nothing more to say, they promote their own island.
Yeah, a lot of them
Which is so
are from
wrong.
other, they promote their own
Yeah.
island. But I was over at the boardwalk right there at Captain Hodge Wharf, and I heard this. The tourist asked one of the taxi drivers, who was a foreigner, of course, he live here long, so he gets a license. How big is Samadhan? And he said, not very big, but not very small.
That's a
And
very
I was
good
like,
answer.
where are we going?
yes. You know the multilingual appreciation course that Miss Richardson is speaking about. She's the instructor. That's one of the courses that we offer the pre-SM students. And at the end, during the course, they get to do 2 tours around the island, 2 activities that they leave the campus, and at the end, they're able to come back and present a project. And when they come back, some of them are like, I didn't even know that existed. So it's a very good program. And so, like Ms. Richardson said, we call it the MLA for short. That's something that maybe we can tweak it a bit so that we can cater to a bigger group. And like you said, have taxi drivers, people who are catering.
And let them
come
they
in
have
and
to come. They have to attend.
get that information.
Because they need to know how to speak about the island.
And be accurate.
If they have the yeah, of course. Know what you're saying. They make it up as they go along. I know nothing they say is true. I think one of those things, some of those things should have been taught in primary school. Really, primary and secondary.
Primary
you should learn
does
something
too.
about your island growing up.
Primary doesn't, believe me. In primary school, both of us come from elementary education background.
Yeah, I'm from
They do excursions.
Yes, we do it.
We
And
do
I
excursions.
must interject here that
Yeah.
sometimes I am so shocked when those same children who went through that in elementary, by the time they reach secondary or they finish secondary, you meet them, they do not know where the Methodist Church is. They do not know where Fort Louis.
They don't know that we have a university.
They don't know
on
that
the
we have a
island.
university they don't know the
Yeah, but
University of
that's
St. Martin where it is located.
Yeah.
About 2 months ago, there was a young lady asking where is the police station. So my next question was, did you go to school here? Yes. Which school did you go to? I won't call the school's name. Did you ever go on field trips? Yes.
And don't know what the police
And
station is.
did they take you to the police station? Yes, but I don't know. I don't remember where it is.
And you just mentioned about government workers and police. While you're speaking, Ms. Richardson, I'm thinking about even teachers, because we have a lot of teachers on St. Martin who are not from St. Martin,
Yes.
and if they're going to pass on information to our children, they also need a training like that where
Need to
they
know
will
some-
benefit from that, to get that kind of information, pass on the correct information, our culture. Pass on what is our culture, what was it like in the 60s and so on, so that they understand, our children understand that they're not without a culture.
I heard Minister De Viva, when he was in charge of tourism, saying that they're going to come up with this course, and the taxi drivers, he was looking at it just from a tourism perspective. are obligated to go to these courses. So maybe it's a good thing if USM can present such a thing
Yeah.
and have them do it, and also present it for school teachers also.
They also
There are
have the
people who
program, so it's easy to just
Yeah.
just implement it.
No, we
but they
need to-
already have the program.
Yeah.
Everybody in this neighborhood is my competitor. Everybody is vying for the same business. And if I don't present a better product and knowledgeable people on what they talk about, we run the risk of losing what we have.
Yes.
That's-
That's true.
Yes, we are.
Okay, and another thing now. We saw the Minister of Education, Mr.
Wycliffe Smith?
Whitcliffe Smith, talking about saving the monuments or restoring the monuments and so. What is your take on the monuments in St. Martin? I know only about 3 of them, but anyway, let's go.
Well, I know that from the days of Neville York, because I was also around that department, that there was already,
A
if
monument
I'm
list.
not, a monument list, if I'm not mistaken, even money put aside to I don't know if to maintain them, but to fix them and so on. So I don't know if that is still so. But what I've noticed with each hurricane, that monuments get damaged and they remain like that. And there are many monuments and private homes that could have been used as monuments have been allowed to
Be demolished.
be demolished
To be
or be
replaced.
replaced.
With some concrete.
And even trees, certain trees
Yes.
were uprooted. The hurricane did not destroy it. And like you said a while ago, I hope that y'all don't shoot me down. But trees have literally been uprooted to put something else that doesn't.
Oh, we know a few of them in
Yes.
Phillipsburg area. We know
Yeah, and hurricanes didn't do that to them.
Yeah.
They could have lasted a few more years and be as a
And maintaining your monuments also shows national pride.
right. Yes.
You know, you can go to certain countries where that those monuments are landmarks. When you're taking a tour, you're actually taken to that particular monument, and there's a whole history that's
But
told.
what saddens me most of all is every time, like on Saturday and Sunday, I was on Front Street and I went to the Saraswati Square, and I looked across and looked at the courthouse, which is our biggest monument.
Yes.
Yeah.
The porch is gone.
It still sends a hurricane. They
It
did
says
nothing.
nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
The plaque in front is falling apart.
Yeah.
It is just so, and on every postcard, everything
poster.
you have the
You have the
you have the
post
courthouse.
Yes, yes.
as the biggest,
It is.
and that is the
But
first
it's a
thing
part
that
of the
should have
national
been
symbols.
exactly.
Yes.
It should
And
have
there's a
been
great
the-
history there with that particular monument.
It breaks
You know,
my
it's a
heart.
pity, and I don't know if they fixed the 130 Lucky.
No, I don't know
roundabout.
if it reached back to its spot yet. Somehow it was broken and then it disappeared.
It got broken.
I
again.
don't know if she found someone and she left.
I forget you're the comedian thing.
So she left with
You
somebody.
know-
She left with somebody.
You know, an old guy in St. Peter's was telling me, I was there, you know, like, there's Grapefruit Road and Guavaberry Road and all this. And the guy says, well, that's the fun of St. Martin government. Cut all the trees down, name the roads after them.
Yes.
It really seems like we do that.
Yes,
Because some of the trees we are accustomed of disappearing, but we see that, you know, something to remember them by on the streets we
Yeah.
name.
Wouldn't it be a wonderful idea if, for instance, in St. Peter's, you can say, you know what, okay, this is Grapefruit Road. Make sure we have grapefruit trees
Have
growing there.
some of them there.
Salt Sap Road. And, you know, that would be
But
so
even
amazing.
our famous donkeys. And I remember you on the donkey too. I'm seeing that right
no,
now.
really, yeah. No, but you know what it is? We had the donkeys. People use them. We didn't have no lot of cars and trucks, so those were our transport mainly. A lot of them just walk around the pond field, so the boys will just get them and ride them out.
I saw
But
you.
there seems to have been a group of people that came here in the late 60s, 70s that eat donkeys. And I think that's the road they went. Yeah, they eat them. They still eat them here. The people from Guadeloupe so like donkey meat. They eat a lot of it.
And we have so very few of them.
Suppose.
I guess that's the reason we have few.
We have few because
Yeah.
local people never eat them before.
Yeah.
I know some local people do now. They get to like the meat, but I know. But no, we had a lot of donkeys in this place. There were many, much more wild animals and loose animals around the place.
And the cows.
Today-
So sometimes I get upset when I hear people say about changing the St. Martin song and and make it more updated. You cannot change it. It reflects who we were.
But it's a folkloric song.
It's a folkloric
the
song.
argument
Because-
of the song is whether it's a national anthem. That's
No,
where
okay,
we were.
okay, we
It's not
know
an
that
anthem.
it is not a
a
national anthem,
folkloric
it's a
song.
folkloric
Yeah.
song.
But people saw
But
customer
don't-
here, people will still stand when it plays.
Yeah, but
simply the
then
way it
don't
is.
change the word in because
I
we
don't
love
think we
to
should.
hear.
We can't change the word,
the-
really, We don't have
It's
the
part of
copyright
our
to it.
history.
the
It belongs to the
donkey
Catholic
scheme.
Church.
Yeah.
And you can't do nothing about it.
That even though the children will say thy sheep and goats.
They changed the word. Well, it's plural anyway. You put the S, it's always plural.
Sure. I loves it.
Wait.
I just go there.
Yeah, well, hey,
my
St.
God.
Martin colloquial English. You know what I say? Yeah, but you understand what I say, though.
That's true.
Of course, I understand.
That's true. That's true.
No, but it's fine. Look, we have been talking for a long time about agriculture and bringing tourism into the villages. I've seen in French Quarter, the only place I've seen working the way it was supposed to work. In French Quarter, there's an area around the pond where there are a lot of iguanas. I don't know where they come from,
Yes.
but tons of them. Some smart lady with nothing else to do came up with an idea, a real entrepreneur. She put a little shack, sell some drinks and some snacks, and people can take pictures with the iguanas.
Iguanas.
They can buy lettuce and feed the iguanas. She makes money on that. A nice little business that didn't need no large investment.
Yeah,
But
I've
it brings
seen
tourism
it.
to the village.
Yes, I've seen it. Yes.
And agriculture. We have had, for as long as I know, agriculture, fisheries, and animal husbandry on our budget. Not much has been done in that area in St. Martin, but it's budgeted every year since I can remember. Yeah, really. We have been going to other countries to talk about these things and what it can do to help us. I know some young people that are doing something called horticulture and aquaculture and all these things that I never heard, but it works. It works. Those are, I think, courses that the university could
Yes,
take up
good,
and
yeah.
help these people who want to go in that field.
Yeah.
I see guys producing fish and using the afal, the droppings of the fish to do agriculture. It's a great system, but I saw a guy doing it on the French side.
Do you know that USM had a experiment set up there? It's called hydroponics.
Hydroponics.
So where it's soilless, and the plants depend on the fish, and the fish depend on the plants.
plants.
And so it's a cycle. And I visited in Guyana. I visited a hydroponics farm, and if you see what they grow. So USM had an experiment some years ago. So I think that there was maybe a course that was dealing with hydroponics and agriculture. I don't know. Miss Richardson has been there longer than I have. I don't know if she can give more insight into
No, I
that.
can't give more on that.
But it's a good case for
Yeah.
people to go. We're talking about the cost of living. One of the ways I think to bring down the cost of living, be able to produce your own food,
Yes.
or part of your own food, and like things like vegetables, and so we can surely produce here. We did before.
But I'm going to say, no, thank you, you said before. So I'm going to say we can do it again
We can
because
do
we
it.
did it in the past.
Did in the past. We didn't import.
We didn't import
I remember
anything.
when I keep telling people. I remember when we first got cold storage chicken here.
And when we
When
first
Wisdom
saw
came.
that, the apple,
Yes,
is-
the red apple.
the red apple, it was like we only saw it in books before. But
Yes, yes.
Okay, ladies, we got about 7 minutes, so I'll give each of you some time to talk to the people about, first of all, USM, the importance of having your kids there, and you're also available for parents. There was a thing on parents also, to come and follow programs of the USM, and any other thing you think that is important to the people.
Okay. As the pre-USM coordinator, I want to really address those young people out there and even parents who are listening. You know, all hope is not lost if your child did not go to an academic school and receive a scholarship afterwards to leave this island. The pre-USM program is there to ensure that your child has a chance to develop, to reach his or her dreams. And so come to USM, where we will be able to guide your child, and afterwards they can enroll in any of our programs, in our associate's degrees. They can afterwards, once they have their GED, they can take go into the bachelor's of education or business. So there's a lot that we are offering, and so I encourage you. Our new year begins in August 2019, but you can come in from now and begin to get information and begin to save up so that your child can attend the pre-USM.
And you can do that by coming into Student Services. As you come in, it's the first office on your left, and they will be happy to sit down with you and tell you what is there, what is being offered there. Also, you spoke about the children, but let's think about the adults also.
Yes.
Do not think all is lost either. There are people who felt, okay, I'm already 35, I'm 40, I'm 45, I can't do anything anymore. I have had students in my classroom at the university who are already 50, going on 6, and some even 60 years old.
Yes.
And achieve their bachelor's in education.
They
at
have,
that,
yes.
At that
Lifetime
age.
dream.
Yes.
You are never too
You're
old
never
to
too.
study.
So any age, do not feel it is over. Whether you are 16 or 99, you are welcome at the University of St. Martin.
Yes.
We are open from Monday to Friday from 8:30 around until 5 p.m. The office is open, but we are there until 10 p.m.
Yes,
classes.
yes. And we do have people leaving from other areas in society. For instance, somebody's working in a bank for years and they say, you know what, I want to change my occupation. I want to become a teacher. So those possibilities are there. You don't have to stick to what you're doing. If you have a dream, follow it and start at USM.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank the University of St. Martin. This is the second time they have graced us with their presence. We thank you, Ms. Sams and Ms. Richardson. And I'd like to talk to St. Martin before we close. It is said that those who fail to prepare are preparing to fail. I think one of the things that is identified in this country more than any other place is that, I from here. I from here, unfortunately, doesn't pay the bills. If you try going to the supermarket and filling your cart and then saying I'm from here, it will be a hard time getting through the gate. We have institutions of higher learning, we have ordinary schools, we have vocational schools. Do prepare yourself. This country needs every one of its citizens to contribute to its future. And you're losing out on a great opportunity if you fail to prepare therefore. I would like to thank you for following the show. This has been the end of the Morning Show with Elton Jones. Do tune in tomorrow. Have a good day. Goodbye.